and why she came to us initially and why she found us is about self-love and kind of falling back in love with herself again after kids. But I'll let her tell you more about that. But I just kind of wanted to give her a cool intro. So Maria lives in France, is that right?
I've been living in France for the last 18 years, basically moved from Canada. I'm an English teacher. I teach English. And my husband is a filmmaker, actually. He's from Canada too. And we were attracted to come to France because he wanted to make films.
Almost turning 50 and you finished having kids, so you really want to discover your body and discover yourself again and fall back in love with yourself again. That's what I really loved when you wrote your testimonial to us, is the fact of finding self-love again, which I think is so important for every mum and dad to really be in love with themselves and really embrace themselves, because our kids, you know, follow us and watch what we do.
Of course, absolutely. Absolutely. That was actually the initial point for me. As you said, it was obviously a side effect of the program was to lose some weight. But honestly, I had felt really, really low the past year, maybe hormonal changes, that kind of thing. And I thought, you know, I would like to get back to the place where I could really feel like me again, basically, to kind of get back to what I used to be or felt like I used to be, basically, to feel really energetic as opposed to feeling sluggish. So like you said, it was really more of a journey of self-love, self-care, to get back to me, basically, bottom line. So it was absolutely the fact of the program.
You actually learned to just eat healthy again, and that it's a consistent journey rather than yo-yo dieting and there being that quick fix. Tell us about that and you discovering that, and how is it all going now in maintenance?
Well, in fact, quick recap was that actually with my background, my mom and dad were always very healthy. I grew up in Canada with a mom who made everything fresh, homemade, you know, good nutrition and so on. So I wasn't starting from the get-go with this program, basically. I'd already had a background in, you know, eating healthy, clean eating before it was trendy, all of that. My parents had a huge garden and so on. So 20s and 30s, basically, I was still eating okay. But basically, I had done a diet a few years ago where it was really, really extreme. And basically, it was low carb, but really, really extreme. And I had a terrible experience, really. Got too thin, felt really bad. You know, it was pivotal in the sense that I said, I'm no longer going to do any kind of fad diet or anything. So basically, when I saw this program, the kind of foods I could eat and so on, it was really easy to just kind of jump into it and begin eating fresh veggie, because I love veggies. I'm one of the weirdos that actually do like veggies. So it wasn't an issue, basically, to eat like that. It was a pleasure and very easy to kind of make easy meals, pretty much. So I continued the first week. Of course, the detox was a little bit tough, but just basically thinking about veggies plus a lean protein and so on, actually, I found it very easy. So in maintenance, actually, I've continued eating kind of the Nourish way, adding a few carbs basically before 2 p.m., like sweet potato and quinoa and stuff like that. I've gone back to a few little grains and things, but actually it's been, to me, it's absolutely natural now. It's a way of life. Like I mentioned, basically the motivation for me was really just to get back to me, to get back to feeling really good about myself, to feel really like the regular sort of energetic Maria of the past. Weight loss was a side effect, as I mentioned. I felt a little bit bloated and so on. I'm a former sugar addict and felt that I was really, really starting to go a little bit crazy with sugar as a way kind of making it through the day, pretty much, to pop in a bit of more sugar in my coffee, to have a chocolate bar in the afternoon for a pick-me-up. And I realized that, you know, the weight had kind of crept on slowly but surely over the past year and a half. So I felt like I really needed to kickstart. And this program sounded absolutely fabulous, in the sense easy, the workout videos and so on too, just to follow, not overthink, and just do, basically.
Main thing that your family have noticed about your changes, have they given you feedback, your daughters and your husband?
Absolutely. Firstly, when I initially started, the first few days, they thought I was absolutely nuts. Because too extreme. Mom, too many vegetables, too many things, too healthy. Like I said, we had generally always made food at home. Eric is a very good cook too, pretty much. So that's a bonus. But initially they thought it would be kind of like, she's gonna manage to do it for a few days. And then it'll be over. And then gradually, maybe a week, 2 weeks go by, and they really, really started enjoying the recipes I was making, the cauli rice, the cauliflower tortillas, soups. We're big soup eaters. So basically, they really, really loved it. And actually, my oldest child, Mia, who's 17, has type 1 diabetes. So she has to eat healthy anyway, pretty much. So she was the opposite of the other two. Basically, she was like, oh, this is great, Mom. I love the way we're eating. Many people are kind of concerned about the fact that diabetics, especially type 1, that they have to always eat carbs and so on. But Mia, I added, of course, a good carb for her at every meal, pretty much, because she's insulin dependent and so on. So actually, they've adapted totally to the way of eating. And if they want an extra little carb, I put it in for them. There's no big issue. And my husband is a big runner. He loves to run, so he's really taking care of himself as well. So it's a pleasure, basically, to be able to cook and that the three others are willing to eat the meals, pretty much.
That's amazing. Just the fact that your family are all involved and the whole family's along for the ride, which is such a cool bonus that happens with the program.
Yeah. So the next question for you is, what was the start like? Talk us through the first week, the really difficult changing your life stuff. Basically,
of course, predictably, day one was quite interesting because, of course, I love my coffee. I have continued to drink coffee, by the way. I love my coffee. And as Julia said, black coffee, if you're gonna drink coffee, if you're a real coffee drinker, you can deal with black coffee. And if you're feeling really naughty, you can put in a little bit of cinnamon, that kind of thing. Or sometimes I'll use my coconut oil, a little smudge in my coffee, basically. So coffee, I was happy to read, and I can report that coffee was very precious the first few days for me. But basically the first day, of course, with the sugar, I said, Maria, just jump in, get rid of the sugar. I did that. I had a headache, as per usual. I mean, day one. But honestly, the first week I can remember thinking that, after the second day, third day, I felt fantastic. Actually, my energy came back. I felt like I was sleeping better. It was almost instantaneous. I read a lot. I see the other posts that people say, oh my God, it's hell. It's been a week and I have a huge headache, or I feel terrible, or less energy. But in reality, in my case, it was the opposite. After 2 days, really the third day, I know for many people, the third day, they say it's the worst. And in actuality, the third day for me was my kind of reawakening, if you will, feeling like, wow, I'm on fire. It was absolutely fabulous. And another thing, I thought, I can follow this. It's super easy. I don't have to overthink it. I just have to prepare in the morning, the same thing for the first week. So I always started off with my poached egg with my Canadian bacon, my salad or veggies, green veggies, whatever, spinach, etc. And it was super easy. It just became kind of my crutch in the morning to make it kind of a regular thing, and so on. So it was actually a real pleasure to begin the week one and feel almost instantaneously very different. So that was a bonus.
What advice would you give to someone that's just starting? Like what are like the two main tips you'd share on from your experience if they're trying to start a healthy lifestyle and get off the sugar?
Very good point. So for me, I think tip number one, what worked for me, and maybe it could differ with other people, but my advice would be just to do it immediately. Just go for it. Because when you are a major sugar addict like me, basically the cakes, living in France, every corner has a bakery. So basically, bottom line, I would suggest to really amp up the water, drink lots of water, pretty much. if you need your coffee, go for it. If you can drink your coffee black, or, you know, you're able to deal with that, good thing. Maybe stick to 1 or 2 max, which I did. It helped me kind of feel like I had a little dessert, if you will, in my mind to say, okay, I'm going to have my coffee after my lunch, and this will be a good thing to kind of replace that feeling. Just, you know, go for it in the sense of try to break hold of it. After the first few days, you'll be fine, basically. So yes, we're going to have to go through the detox point. I think for most people, depending, it varies, but to just go for it, basically, and to do your best, be consistent. You know, try to stick to the lean protein. I know there are other plans. Obviously, I'm talking about Nourish Extreme, but do your best. Feel like you're eating enough too. Try to get in all those veggies. Try to get in extra water. Try to sleep. If you're hungry, go to bed. If it's not too late, you know, even if it's 9 o'clock at night or 10 and you're feeling cravings, have some tea or herbal tea or water. And just, I think the best thing to do then is to catch up on some sleep, basically.
That's such a good tip, because the same thing for me. Remember when I was losing all my weight after our 4th baby, just going to bed early some nights would just eliminate, because you'd wake up the next day and you'd be like, yes, I got through a day. I got through a day. And also when you were talking about the detox of it all, you're better off, and this is what I've said to so many mums and dads, or we've said to so many mums and dads in the program. Remember, if you're detoxing and feeling gross, it's these toxins coming out of your body, and they're better out than in. So rather than going, oh my God, I've got a headache, I feel sick, the toxins coming out, and then giving up and having more junk, you're keeping it in there. You want to get rid of all this stored fat or toxins that you don't need to have.
You've got to get rid of them eventually.
Yeah, otherwise they turn into disease later in life and you get very, very sick. So it's only a week's not long for getting rid of this crap out of your body.
Maria made a really good point there, is overeat on veggies. A lot of people think when you're supposed to start this sort of thing to just restrict as much as possible, but it's the opposite. You're actually trying to nourish your body as much as you possibly can.
Absolutely. And you know, the 2 things we find that people get the most results and really make this life-changing is the 2 things they do. They drink a lot of water, which Maria mentioned, and they also eat a lot of vegetables. They really just go, okay, I'm hungry, I'm going to have more vegetables. And they just fill up on vegetable soups. And I mean, the options are endless with vegetables. Yeah. So that are the 2 big things. If you're starting any kind of healthy lifestyle, do those 2 things and you'll nail it.
All right. Hey, the next question for you, Maria, a really important one. Did you have any breakdowns?
In fact, the first week I remember kind of feeling obviously excited about the fact that changes were happening. I was feeling energetic and so on. But I also experienced kind of in the first week or 2, I can't really remember, feeling also very kind of frustrated in the sense that I felt, a little bit short. I'm usually a very patient person and so on, but I did experience a few times kind of feeling like, okay, get my girls, basically telling them, get a move on, that kind of thing, snapping basically. And I felt, like kind of a highs and lows, like, yes, I'm doing this for me, but at the same time feeling like, like my temper was kind of changing a little bit. So that probably is quite normal, in fact, when you're kind of experiencing the first couple of days or even weeks of, getting back into it, eating healthy and so on. So with the sugar, maybe the lack of sugar or so on. But breakdown, apart from that, not really, no. I can't say that I really had a major, flip out or breakdown.
Whether you're on a diet or not, we find when mums and dads are feeling crappy about themselves and they're eating junk and they're really not happy where they are currently in their lives, they're snapping at their kids anyway. And they're not happy because they're getting upset or they're emotional up and down all the time. So I think people do that when they're on a bad diet and they're not even being healthy anyway. The moods and the behavior is something people come into the program because they want to be better and they want to be happier. So I think those couple of days initially when you're detoxing and you're a bit snappy, most people were going to do anyway because they're feeling bad. So I just think it's part of just that detox of just becoming happier. And if I can give you some advice, because I went through the same thing for anyone listening, and if you don't want to be snappy, remember you're in control of your behavior. So find something that's going to push you into that happy place. It might be burpees.
Yeah, right.
It might be, sitting down and just reading a book with your kids, or just taking a moment and going, right now I'm feeling a little stressed. Take a couple of deep breaths and find something that's going to put you into that happy place. It really is a habit to do for the rest of your life. So that would be advice that we've given heaps of times.
We've got a good question here. Does the snapping go away eventually? So Maria, did you feel like you got better with your moods, and how long did that take with your shortness?
Yeah, so initially at the beginning, I can't really pinpoint exactly the snapping part. I know it was at the beginning. But yes, absolutely. My moods totally changed after that. Maybe lasted a few days for me, where I felt kind of like up, down and up a little bit, snapping, that kind of thing. But actually it went away quite quickly. It was replaced by a very zen feeling after.
That was my next question for you is, so you started here, then you went down. Did you come back to normal, or did you go better?
Even better. I would say that, yes, after the initial kind of going really low in the sense of like snapping or being really frustrated or feeling like, I didn't have any time for those that, took their time answering me or whatever. I felt like I had gone to a better place emotionally, even that my moods kind of, a zen, or I felt really at peace, basically. So I would say better than the actual original state that I'm familiar with. I would say that even emotionally, mentally, and so on, that it became really a happy place for me. I felt really, really good.
All right. So the next question for you, did you have any breakthroughs? Not just a breakdown, a breakthrough, something positive?
Well, basically, I think the breakthrough came maybe after a few weeks after starting the program, basically, where I had always kind of worn, Tanya spoke about this last week, basically feeling like you're wearing baggy clothes, hiding yourself kind of thing. For the past year and a half, I felt, before beginning this journey with you guys, feeling really like I was hiding behind big clothing, wearing kind of unstructured blazers to work, and baggy pants and all that kind of thing. So really, after, I would say, maybe 2 weeks, I had noticed that, my clothes were already starting to get a little bit bigger and so on. So I took out a pair of old jeans that I had in my cupboard, and I hadn't put them on in a few years, basically. So I put them on, and lo and behold, they weren't tight. I was feeling good in them. It was amazing. And that's when I realized, looking in the mirror, I said, oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel really, really like it just went off, in the sense that I felt like this program, this journey, the way I'm eating, obviously is having really good results very quickly, and felt good about myself. I felt like I'd shed kind of a layer, not only of fat, but actually and feeling much more comfortable in my skin. So I would say that, probably most of us go into this journey thinking weight loss, I'm going to lose X amount of kilos and so on, or pounds if you're American or Canadian. And you realize, yes, that's an excellent benefit, obviously, weight loss. But on the other hand, you're feeling so many good things at the same time. You're feeling like you're gaining kind of control of you, feeling emotionally sound, as I mentioned, happy place, that you're stronger. You're able to do many, many things during the day that where you kind of hit a snag or really low at 3 p.m. Goes out the window. So all of those things were kind of breakthroughs for me.
There's so much more than the weight loss. And the thing that I love the most with watching mums and dads all over the world transform is they're like, oh my God, I'm discovering so many more incredible things about myself. Like marriages are just that we're on the rocks. Marriages are coming back together. Parents that are having, some trouble with their teenagers or kids. It's just families are getting closer. There's so many more things than the weight loss. Yes, the weight loss is an incredible bonus. But when people just go along on the ride and don't have expectations on that I need to lose this much weight or I need this to happen, they just go, you know what, I'm just going to do everything I'm supposed to, trust the process and just see what I discover. It's cool. Like it's like exciting. It makes me get up in the morning to see what kind of amazing things people are discovering about themselves. So I'm grateful that you guys are in our life. It's just so cool.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Did you cheat?
The first 4 weeks, I would say, absolutely not. The advantage of Fit Mom and Fit Dad too is that the day of, I decided to go for it. The first day, I'll never forget the date. January 15th was the day I started on Fit Mom and Fit Dad. And basically I had written a post, and a few women kind of responded and said, I'm starting today too, so on and so forth. So what was great was I started from that day on, I think really from the first day, writing a sort of post where I was kind of accountable to myself. And I think that I kind of put myself out there, basically saying, hey, it's day one, I'm starting, I'm feeling a little bit low and so on. But it's going well. And it really, really encouraged me to kind of really, really give the program and myself a chance to succeed and not cheat, basically. So I would say I did the first round, basically, like I said, 4 weeks where I absolutely did not cheat, and saw results, basically. So we had gone out once with some friends, I think in week 4, week 5, and I had a little bite of a little chocolate cake and so on. And to be honest with you, the day after kind of felt crappy. So that kind of woke me up and said, no, this is not going to happen. I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm not going to self-sabotage. I'm going to really make an effort to continue on and do my best until the end of the round, and we'll see what happens. So when I did crave, when I did, have those feelings from time to time, of course, too much information, but when it's that time of the month, basically, feeling really, really low, really, really needing it, I basically went so crazy as to have half of a banana, basically. That was the big cheat, basically. So it made me feel better, but I really tried to drink tea to curb my cravings by drinking more water or pushing the veggies more and so on. So that really worked for me. And plus, really posting regularly. As you know, I'm a serial poster.
You're such a huge support in the community.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for other people in here. The more you give, the more you get back from the community.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Maria?
I do agree. Absolutely, 100%. If you are willing to put yourself out there, be part of the community and really try, even if you feel vulnerable, we all do at the beginning. We're all like, I'll never forget the first time I posted, so embarrassing, but I posted photos of myself and it was on my regular Facebook page, thinking I had posted to Fit Mom. And I was like, oh no, I have a few regular friends that have seen my post with my belly hanging out and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. So I did delete it on my regular Facebook page. To me personally, it really helped to post regularly, to be involved with others, to encourage others as well. And what's great is that I've met so many wonderful people in this community that have become actual friends now, that it's amazing.
It's quite funny. I think a few people have done that where they've gone to post in the community and share with everyone, and they've actually posted on their Facebook page and then they get into our community and tell everybody, and everyone has a big giggle like, oh, I've done that before too. The thing that I love the most about our community is the positivity, because there's so much negative in the world, in the media, on Facebook. It can be quite a negative place that can really, if you're not feeling the best, put you feeling worse or in a darker place. And the thing that I love most about our community is the positivity. Everyone's in there and they know it's about positivity, and it's about a group where we all uplift each other. And you're saying you're meeting friends all over the world. Like, how cool is that? We're literally meeting mums and dads from all over the world that are on that same mindset as us, that want to be healthy, that want to feel better, that want to be positive and want to have a better life. And Julius and I couldn't find that initially before, when we first started the program. That's why this whole community evolved, is because we wanted to be around other parents that were the same as us, that are excited about health, are excited about happiness.
It's been a pleasure actually to contribute and help others, because I know that when I started, it was the same kind of idea. I had read and seen posts by Steffi, the famous Steffi Gregerson and Tanya Jago and others, that I thought, oh my God, they're so helpful. They've helped me personally, and so many other fit moms that have, really pushed me as well and have inspired me, alongside with you two, of course, with your story, and so on. So I thought, well, you should put it forward too. You should play it forward, rather, that you help others as well that are starting, that have doubts, that are feeling really, bad about themselves and so on. It's important, I think, just to keep this community positive.
And I guess for us, anyone that's feeling sad, we'd love everyone in the world, especially with kids, because you're an influence on your children to be happy. And for us to create that safe place for people is huge, isn't it? Like, just so where people never feel judged, they feel like they are part of something bigger and better, something that is making a difference in the world, which is actually making a difference to our next generation. Because you as a mum, me as a mum, you as a dad, us as parents, we're responsible for our next generation to be happy. And if we're happy, they're happy. So it's huge.
Yeah. And you're an inspiration now, Maria. So what's that feel like to be an inspiration to yourself and to your kids and to your community?
Well, I mean, it's true that in terms of inspiration, I know that my kids are happy with the way I am today and doing things. Obviously it feels really good to help others and so on, and to inspire others. So basically, it has actually fueled my desire, I think, to kind of work, maybe to push myself even at close to 50, to pretty much maybe change careers, to think about getting into health and nutrition. You guys have inspired me so much with your own story. And I know you obviously have a physical education background and so on, but I thought, to what kind of extent could I be of help to others, basically, to maybe, if it's nutrition or holistic or whatever the case may be, to kind of get into it, because I think that I have finally found a place where I really, really am excited about kind of getting involved in this kind of community and helping others feel as good as I do. And I haven't really found the answer yet, but I'm working on it.
So good. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
It's really special.
You're making me choke up.
You want a tissue?
Okay, Maria, tell us about what it feels like buying clothes now.
Actually, that's a very good point. Buying clothes is absolutely a pleasure today, whereas opposed to in the past, it was a disaster. For example, bathing suit, a swimsuit, if you will. I always avoided trying on bathing suits and swimsuits in the past. To me, that was the absolute horror story kind of thing, to go in and get one on and look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, it's horrendous. Those layers of fat everywhere. So in fact, now it's really so much fun. I mean, I have such a good time going and trying on clothes, and even revisiting my closet, basically, shopping in my own closet per se, and finding things sometimes that you say, oh my God, I wore this when I was 30 years old or 35. Yeah, that's how old I am. I have clothes, some that have come back in style, actually, trying them on and thinking, wow, they actually fit. They look great, or they're way too big, So it really is an awesome, positive experience today to try on things and say, oh yeah, this looks cool, or this looks good on me now.
Okay, next question. Has this helped your marriage?
We've always had a very good relationship. So to be honest with you, we've always been very solid. We're celebrating 27 years in September. But no, it has actually helped, because I think I personally have felt that we've always communicated well, but more so even now. There's a sense of kind of, really cool, very easy communication. Things are fantastic. He's working on his health too. He's done super well in that respect. He was suffering a few years ago with a bad back and so on, and that has totally changed. And we're a regular couple. Obviously, we have our bad days from time to time, but in terms of, I would say overall, absolutely.
The next question would be, what would you say to yourself when you started the program? So the Maria from now, what advice would you give yourself from back then?
I would say to the old Maria of 6 months ago, basically, I would say that, have more confidence, just go with it. Stop questioning yourself every day or every time you're making a meal. Just just trust the process, kind of, you know, do your best, be consistent. I'd read Steffi and others that had said, you know, I mean, obviously not everyone's going to have a perfect day all the time. You're not a robot, you're a human being. There are days where obviously, you know, we get home later or things happen and so on, but just to really trust the process and be confident. Don't overthink, just do, pretty much.
Maria, is there anything that you found, having done this now, that you're capable of now that you never thought of before?
I hated running. How classic is that? Absolutely hated running. My husband had started running about 5-6 years ago, and he's always been after me to kind of get, you know, try it out kind of thing. And I was like, what for? I'm a big walker, you know. I started off even before the program walking approximately 10 to 15 kilometers a day anyway, because I have a big dog, a big fluffy Samoyed that loves walking. And I always took him out, you know, for his walks, or even in Paris, walk everywhere. But I thought, you know, with this program and even a few months before that, I would try. And I hated it. The first week, I absolutely detested it. So even for 3 kilometers, I stopped 3 times the first day, walked it out and so on. I thought, I'm never, ever going to be a runner. And lo and behold, today, I love running. I run 3-4 times a week, and other exercises as well. But that to me, I think, is a classic for many people starting the program, thinking, oh my God, there's running in the program. How dare they suggest that we run 5 kilometers a week? Every week you realize that you are getting a little bit faster, generally speaking. You're feeling lighter. You're feeling free and independent, as corny as it sounds. And you're able to push yourself basically with the exercises and running. So that was a big one for me.
That's a huge one. And yeah, it's such a common trend. People who say that they start the program and then it's an optional thing. Every Saturday we say to you, just to see how fit you are, try and run or walk 5 kilometers. It's not far. There's nearly every country in the world now, they have a park run, which is a 5 kilometer measured race. And everyone joins in. It's free. I think it's sponsored by Adidas or something. Nearly every town in the world now. It's just a good way of seeing every week how fit you've gotten. So we do that. And a lot of people, they just don't really want to do it when you start off with. But when you try and then, you know, you start getting, it's such a good way of finding out where you are with your fitness, because it's not just athletic fitness, it's also endurance as well. It's about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Maria, do you go to park run?
I don't. Actually, I live in the boondocks. I think I mentioned that. I'm in a little village of 100 people where you have to drive everywhere if you want to get to anywhere. Basically, there's only a church, homes, 100 people. So I personally love to run in the countryside because we have, you know, a lot of hilly spots, forests, fields, and so on. So I love running actually outdoors. So I'm a big fan of strapping on everything and going for a run in different directions and so on. So no, I've yet to do any kind of park run or anything. My husband has run 3 marathons and so on. So I would like to. There is actually a really neat race run actually here a few kilometers away. So I might enroll this year and try it out basically.
So for some of you that are just coming on and you don't really know much about the program, there is running in the program and it is optional, but we always say just toy with the idea of running. Even if you walk to begin with, or you only get 1 kilometer, it doesn't matter, but it really does help you discover yourself. And I'm so grateful that we put running in the program, because so many people that are hate running, including myself, are now ultra marathon runners. And if we'd never even put running in the program, these thousands and thousands of mums and dads would never even have toyed with the idea of running. So I'm so grateful it's in there. So if you're thinking you're not a runner, just open the idea up and toy with it, because you might discover something amazing about yourself. And I know for Julius and I, when we run, we really do. It clears your mind, that monkey going on in your head of stress and everything that goes on in our lives because we're busy. It clears that for you. So,
and it's free.
Thank you so much for coming on and I know that you're on your weekend and you're with your family and you've gotten up early, eliminated your sleeping to be here to inspire everybody, to share your journey so that hopefully you can get someone else on that roller coaster of self-discovery and happiness. And that's huge. So thank you, beautiful, for taking the time out of your day in France and chatting to us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Love you guys. And here's to more and future, challenges for everyone, and keep supporting one another. Bye. See ya.